Welcome to a There It Is podcast mini episode, a comedy podcast to help you find your inspiration with a quick tip. I'm your host, Jason Farr. Let's do this. Thanks so much for giving us a listen today. This is mini episode number 31, which means we have 30 other mini episodes, which are all in the feed. Give those a listen. And the tips I share in these mini episodes are not just mine, because I don't know it all. Over the years, I've heard what professionals and experienced comedians and performers have said somewhere, be it in a class I took or an interview I read or saw or a YouTube video or something like that. And in these episodes, I'm either sharing one of those things or sharing an observation I made after taking the advice of others or utilizing some tips I picked up somewhere. I note who shared the tips where I can, but sometimes some tip just gets filled in the back of my head and I don't recall who said it or where I picked it up from. And sometimes it's just personal experience plus the things that I've heard and read. I think it's great to share tips and advice that you've discovered, and please share those with us if you have some yourself on social media at There It Is Pod on Threads, Facebook, and Instagram, or on this episode's post on our website, thereitispod.com. Today's topic is how to set intentions. But real quick, I want to give a big thanks to Maxie Whitrack, who is a friend of the show, for supporting the podcast. We had an excellent chat with her last year. She is awesome, and you should check out her episode. It was number 401. And you could follow her on Instagram at MadMaxie. That's Mad with 2 Ds. In her episode, she gave a shout out to the festival guide that we do, and that's likely a big reason she supported us with a donation. Regardless of what the reason was, we thoroughly appreciate it. And you can support us as well. All you have to do is go to thereitispod.com and click on the support button. It's a new year. And as we have said so many times through the podcast and the newsletter, resolutions that we make at the beginning of the year aren't worth much. Having goals, on the other hand, now that's great. But resolutions are often just what we hope for. That's what they end up being. I want to lose weight. That's my resolution, to lose weight. But we don't put a plan in motion. Actually, just yesterday in the newsletter, we shared an article from Psychology Today that stated that research has shown that willpower-based New Year's resolutions fail most often under stress. The article said setting intentions is best, and it was about creative intentions. We will link to it in the bio if you don't subscribe to the newsletter, but you should subscribe to the newsletter. Nevertheless, we should set intentions. That's the big takeaway. If you're a comic or an actor, you obviously have hope for your career, and that's normal and that's fair. But making progress will involve setting intentions and not just making resolutions. You got to consider what steps are required to make the progress you want. Want to get into a festival this year? You can't just say, I resolve to do a festival this year. Think about the things you have to have in place, because the easy thing that can happen is you look at some fests, maybe on our website, on the festival blog, that you would like to go to, and then you see the submission fee is high, and you realize the cost of travel is maybe out of budget. So then you lose hope, and you might even give up, right? Making this just another year that you don't do a fest, and then you feel bad. You say, maybe next year. This can so easily happen for some, but it doesn't have to. With a plan and stick-to-itiveness, your hope to be in a fest this year doesn't have to die. All it takes is a plan. And here's what a plan could look like if your goal is to do a festival this year. So I mentioned the festival blog. So you go to our festival blog, look at the fests that are there. Maybe you're a stand-up. The very first section is stand-up. And there are other festivals, though, that might have stand-up improv sketch or stand-up sketch or something like that. You can look at all the ones that have stand-up listed. You could say, well, this one is not too far away. I could easily travel there. And it's this time of year, that's in the fall. I got many months. And then you look and see when the deadline is. Okay. So you're like, all right, that deadline's a couple months out. So you click on that festival and go to the submission page if it doesn't automatically take you there, and you'll see the submission fee. Now, maybe it's just $20 and that's very doable, but sometimes it's more than that. You may not be able to swing it right now, but it is a festival you definitely want to do because you've heard it has a good reputation, looks like a fun city to go to, etc. So let's say you don't have the money right away, and let's say you don't have tape, you look at the requirements, they want a 5 to 10 minute tape that's unedited. And so you go, oh, well, I have to have a good 7-minute tape here where I get laughs through it all. And I don't have that right now. Okay, that's fine. And then you're like, oh, well, this place also won't put you up. I'll have to find a place to stay and I'll have to get there. So that's going to cost a lot. Just research that right now. If you were that person who's seeing the cost would end up making you feel completely incapable of getting it done, just think about what all it would cost. What is the number? Actually go through that. You have the submission fee number. Do you know someone in that town? Maybe you could say with them, that's one cost that you don't have to deal with. And then it's just saving up, right? Just save up. Put some money aside each month until well before the deadline. You don't want to go all the way up to the deadline for the submission because you want to submit in enough advance, because some of these things have early bird fees. You want to get in on the early bird price if you can. That'll help you save money. But when it comes to saving for the trip, just like put some money aside each month. If you also are going to need to save up to submit, put some money aside for a couple of months. Think about how you have to go about doing that. Maybe it means not having beer after every show that you do or whatever. Whatever it is, it's like saving, putting it aside, and not touching it so that it is there for you for this trip. And then you also have to think, well, I don't have a tape, and I have what could be a solid 7 minutes, but I want to polish it up so it's really strong, get me a better chance of getting in the fest. Great thinking. Again, just plan ahead with that. How many mics can you do this week? How many mics can you do next week? How many additional mics than what you normally do can you get to? Because then you can test that material and really try to hone it and focus on honing it, telling the jokes and paying attention to how people respond, tweaking to adjust for how they responded, right? If they didn't really laugh, or if this section needed a little bit more of an oomph to it, like adjust, do it at a different mic. Next week, you keep honing those jokes and testing the new versions of them. That way, you can get it to where it's strong enough and you can say, all right, I've got an iPhone. It's got a good camera on it. I just need to borrow a tripod or use my tripod or set it up somewhere where I can record. It'll get me well. Because it's got to look like people got to be able to see you. You don't want to be far away in your shot. And you also want to get the crowd laughs. It's sometimes tough to pick those up, but just make sure it's something that's getting all of that for you. One of the things to think about with that too is to do a couple of recordings or a few recordings so that you have some to work from. Because you can't edit this. You don't want to feel like you have to get it in one shot. So you have a few opportunities to record. And look, I've been to special tapings before. They do a couple tapings. They don't just record that hour one time and that's it. They record over a couple of nights. They'll do pickups. Okay. Don't compare yourself to specials. They're not doing it all at once. So when you were trying to record your set for a festival, recognize that you can not have it the first time you record it and just record it a second time somewhere else at another night or something like that, because that is valid and fair to do. The professionals are doing it. Don't beat yourself up. You have a lot at your disposal here. So just plan ahead, for recording, plan ahead for saving. And that's how you can get yourself in a festival this year. Can't just say it. And then when the time comes, it's like, I guess I'll just submit. And I'll just put something out there. I don't know. Just throw stuff out there and like have a plan. Polish it up. You've got this. Another thing that can easily happen with people seeking careers in comedy or acting is setting goals that involve someone else saying yes. And that example I just gave of trying to get into a festival, someone has to say yes. Our whole careers require other people saying yes. Bookers have to say yes. Agents have to say yes to have them represent us. Levels of departments have to say yes in order to book an acting gig. I just booked that gig in Gig Life, and it wasn't like the director just said, this guy. I mean, I had to get through the casting director and then the creative team and then the clients. Like, that's 3 rounds of getting yeses. That's the reality. Our careers rely on getting a lot of yeses. It requires somebody else doing something. While so much is out of our hands, we can control what is in our hands, because what is so easy to happen is that we just wait for someone, because we have to wait so much in our career that it could be easy to miss the times where we can do something to get ourselves out there, to just get ahead. So let's say you want a comedy manager this year. So much of the time people get representation randomly, and you can't cold call agencies in a lot of major cities like New York City. So you have to hope someone sees you or a friend introduces you to their agent or something like that. But someone seeing you is out of your hands, right? Like, you don't know what agent is going to see you randomly. But what's in your hands is putting yourself out there, totally in your hands. So if your goal is to get representation this year, put on some shows, show interest in the character showcase at your improv theater, or ask your friend if they're the ones running it. I guarantee you they'd be glad for you to reach out, because you'd be one less person they have to find for this show that they produce every month, right? So just ask them. They're not going to be mad. You don't have to get permission to ask somebody, hey, can I be on your show? So just increase the amount of shows you're trying to get on. If you're only ever doing the same mic, well, do some other mics. Focus on making your material as sharp as possible. You want to get out there. So put on shows. Get on shows. Do a little bit more in what you've been doing. The ultimate goal here is getting yourself out there. So if at the end of the year you've done more shows each month than the previous year, you've met some new people and put on some of your own shows that maybe you hadn't done before, but you don't have a manager, hey, you still made a lot of progress. And who knows where that will take you. It's easy to say, and I've been there. It is so easy to say, I don't know if this will work, so why should I put time into doing it? But you don't know that it won't work. So it's worth trying. Like, doing the same thing you've always done and hoping something or someone comes along may land you a gig or even a comedy manager, but there's a really good chance doing nothing will not work. So at least when you do new and more things to diversify your output, you grow and you make new connections. That may not be the goal, right? Making new connections. You wanted a manager out of it, but you would have made a ton of progress than if you didn't do anything. So get yourself out there more. Like, right now, sitting right here, you don't know what's going to happen. Don't let that make you afraid, like it has to me in the past, of doing new things or trying new things and getting yourself out there, or just having confidence that it can work. That's the big one for me. I keep putting myself out there, but I just won't have confidence in it. And that maybe makes you not do other things. You know, you're doing a little, but you're not doing a little bit more because you don't have confidence, because you're afraid, or because you don't know what's going to happen. Again, be kind to yourself. This stuff is hard. Doing this is hard. So keep the fun, by learning and growing and meeting new people and putting yourself out there. That's what it will take. Getting out there more, doing a little bit more, may get you in front of a manager, or it may get you in front of the person who will get you in front of the manager. Or who knows? I mean, it's just like Conan O'Brien says, right? If you work really hard and you're kind, amazing things will happen. And we don't know what those amazing things are yet. But if we work really hard and we're kind, something's going to happen. So just keep working. You got this. Thanks for listening to this mini episode. All episodes of the podcast are available wherever you get podcasts. Don't forget to check out @MadMaxie on Instagram. You could also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads @ThereItIsPod, and subscribe to our YouTube channel @ThereItIs. And follow me on Instagram and Threads @JasonFarPics. Also subscribe to our comedy lifestyle newsletter and support us if you can. We have a Patreon and a PayPal. Go to ThereItIsPod.com for newsletter and support info. Links in bio. Until next time, be good to each other. It's a moral imperative.
The music for the theme song was created by Neil Brooks. The rap was written and performed by Nick Acevedo. The logo for There It Is was created by Jeff Prater. The There It Is podcast is produced by Jason Farr.